This is my old wallet and it has more than 20 card slots. About 10 years ago, most of these card slots were filled with credit cards and all those credit cards were maxed out. I started working in Dubai in 2009 when I was 23 years old. And all I wanted from life were three things. One, I wanted to experience the glitz and glamour of Dubai. Two, I wanted to buy as much as clothes and accessories. And three, I wanted to show off a little bit. Since I had a decent income and getting credit cards and loans back then in Dubai was as easy as buying groceries, I kept accumulating more cards and loans. But as my lifestyle got fancier, my debts kept piling up. Every new credit card, every new loan added to my burden. And the more my liabilities grew, the harder it became to focus on my job. I kept switching jobs and chasing higher salary, thinking that would solve my problems. But in reality, I was just digging a deeper hole for myself. The hardest part was that I had to sell everything that I bought with that credit card, including our wedding rings and our phones. On top of that, I had to vacate my apartment in Dubai and move to Sharjah into a tiny shared apartment. You must have heard of this quote from Warren Buffett. If you buy things you don't need, soon you will have to sell things you need. Even though I finally found a job in 2017 with better salary, the next 5 years until 2022, my life revolved around only one thing: paying off debt. Every month, more than 95% of my salary went to the banks. For 5 long years, I did nothing but clear liabilities. No luxuries, no savings, just survival. This is what happens when you live beyond your means to impress others or prioritize wants over needs. And remember that most of us are just one job loss or one hospitalization away from bankruptcy. Being rich is fabulous, but looking rich when you're not is a trap. What we don't realize is the outward symbol of wealth often comes with a steep price both financially and mentally. Though we might feel that we're doing well, we are secretly trapped in a cycle of debt and living paycheck to paycheck, all to maintain the illusion of wealth. When you're focused on appearing rich to keep up with the society, we often overlook the importance of financial freedom and security. And that's why it's important to look poor. Before we talk further about why it's important to look poor, I would like to take you through a few lessons I learned from trying to look rich. The first lesson that I learned was that I had to get out of the treadmill as soon as possible. When you're constantly trying to upgrade your lifestyle, seeing what others have, you'll never live a fulfilling life. It's like staying on a treadmill. You might think that you're covering a long distance, but you're actually staying on the same place. You buy a new car and then you meet a friend who has a bigger car and you upgrade your new car for a bigger one. That's what is called the treadmill effect. No matter how much you try, there'll always be someone who's richer than you. Even if you're a Warren Buffett, there's a Bill Gates above you. And if you're a Bill Gates, there's an Elon Musk above you. When you're constantly striving for more or chasing the next thing, you will never live a fulfilling life. So the first thing to do to look poor and be rich is to stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. Figure out what you need and focus on upgrading the areas that you need fulfillment in your life. The second lesson that I learned was that a latte a day has the potential of ruining your life. When I look back at my life, most of my purchases were petty purchases, like dresses, mid-luxury watches, shoes, perfumes, etc. This is called the latte effect. Latte effect is a financial concept that highlights how small habitual expenses like a cup of latte can add up over time and impact long-term savings and wealth building, which could be paid for a health insurance if you simply decide to make a coffee at home. In my case, during my financial recovery phase, I purchased a health insurance for 89 dirhams per month from MetLife, which not only covered my hospital expenses during my cancer treatment, it also paid me a substantial amount for the future. So take care of your pennies and dollars will take care of itself. The third lesson that I learned was that every choice we make got a hidden price. The economists call it the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the value of the best alternative you give up when making a financial decision. In simpler terms, it's the idea that every time we make a financial decision, we're also deciding not to pursue something else. For example, take your smartphone. You don't have to make iPhone or any other flagship phone as your ultimate goal. Instead, you can opt for a mid-range phone that offers almost everything you need and use that money to upgrade your skills. In the long run, the skill that you developed might help you increase your income, bringing you closer to financial freedom much faster. The fourth lesson that kept me poor and look rich was the Diderot effect. When I was in my look rich phase, I had this habit of buying things that always matched with each other. For example, when I bought a shirt, I would buy a pair of pants that went well with it, then a pair of socks to match the pants, then a pair of shoes, and then a belt, and then a strap for the watch that matched the shoe and the belt. So instead of just coming home with a shirt, I came home with a handful of things. This is exactly what Denis Diderot did in the 1700s. One day he got a fancy robe, and then to match this robe, he just changed the entire furniture in his house. And this is why this behavior was later named after this French philosopher as the Diderot effect. Not only did Denis Diderot and I fall into this trap, but most of you have done it too. So the next time you go shopping, plan and list down what you need to buy and buy only what's in your list. The fifth lesson that I learned was that I had to get down from the ladder as quickly as possible. The ladder effect is when you're constantly upgrading your lifestyle as your income increases. That's what most of us do. When we start earning more, we don't focus on saving more. Instead, we increase our expenses. We move to a bigger house, buy a bigger car, or keep spending more. But if you don't want to save more, you can spend on increasing the quality of your life. Hire a good trainer or mentor, insure your home, invest in a high quality mattress to sleep better, or learn something you've always wanted to. With every income increase, prioritize things that enhance your life and make smart investments that brings you closer to financial freedom. Once I stepped down from the ladder and grounded myself, the quality of my life improved drastically. Lesson number 6, get out of the sinking boat as quickly as possible. Back in 2013, I started my first business, a retail shop selling automotive parts. Pretty soon, I realized that it wasn't going to work. But instead of cutting my losses, I kept pouring money into it for 2 more years, just because I didn't want to lose my initial investment. That's the sunk cost fallacy at work. You keep holding on just because you've already put something in, without realizing that staying longer will only make it worse. The longer you stay, the deeper you sink. Accept that mistakes happen. What is lost is lost. Next time you find it difficult to get out of something, remember this Japanese legend. If you get on the wrong train, get off at the nearest station. The longer it takes you to get off, the more expensive the return trip will be. Most people don't think that they're rich, but they also don't believe they're poor. They're stuck in the middle where financial security feels like within the reach, but never actually arrives. It's one of the biggest financial traps we all fall into. The easiest way to live a fulfilling life is to look poor. In a world that often equates success with wealth, power, and influence, the idea of looking poor might seem weird. However, many successful individuals, from billionaires to savvy entrepreneurs, intentionally downplay their financial status. This concept is also referred to as stealth wealth or strategic minimalism. And looking poor can actually have numerous advantages, like avoiding unwanted attention and jealousy. One of the main reasons why people choose to look poor is to avoid unnecessary attention. Displaying wealth often makes people target to theft, scams, and social resentment. When others perceive someone as wealthy, they might try to exploit their generosity, ask for unnecessary financial help, or even corner you out of jealousy. By maintaining a modest appearance, you can protect yourself from these risks. Another advantage is that looking poor can reinforce financial discipline. Many people end up in financial trouble due to reckless spending on luxury items. By deliberately avoiding extravagant purchases and choosing a simple lifestyle, you can develop better financial habits, save more money, and invest wisely. Minimalist living is a natural extension of this principle. Third advantage is better negotiations. Looking rich can sometimes backfire. If you show up in fancy clothes, expensive watches, luxury cars, people might think you've got plenty of money and might overcharge you. On the other hand, if you appear less wealthy, you might get better deals because others see you as needing a fair price. Number 4 is looking poor actually helps you develop authentic relationships. Appearing less wealthy can also help attract genuine relationships. When people see someone as rich, they may interact with them for financial gain. But by keeping a modest look, you can build connections based on who they truly are. Looking poor actually reduces social pressure and expectations. In many societies, there is immense pressure to maintain certain image, whether through wearing designer clothes or driving expensive cars, or hosting extravagant events. This pressure often leads people to live way beyond their means. By choosing to look poor, you can free yourself from these societal expectations. You see, looking poor doesn't mean that you miss out on things. It's about focusing on what truly matters. It doesn't mean that you go to work looking poor. Some places you need to dress well. If your work demands you to dress well, you have to spend on it. It means that you live a balanced life. What I'm trying to tell you by looking poor is not trying to tell you go homeless. You have to know what you actually want and you have to focus on it. Focus on fulfillment rather than a flashy lifestyle. Financial freedom matters more than flashy looks. If you start to live way beyond your means, your income will never be enough for you. Thank you for watching. Share it with a friend who needs it. Stay subscribed to the channel. See you next time.